Now, they said that he was responsible. Okay, fine. Okay, he was responsible. But he was found not guilty. And if Rodney King, who got beat up back in the mid 90s, those police officers walked out that courtroom smiling and laughing, they were set free. We all seen that on tape. So this is another reason why with the 4th of July doesn't really mean that much to me anymore. In Major League Baseball, the Midsummer Classic is coming. The All-Star game is headed back to Philadelphia. The Phillies will host the All-Star game for the fourth time in their history, but it will be first time at Citizens Bank Park. Where Citizens Bank Park, that's where the Phillies play their home games. The 2026 festivities will kick off on July 10th with the HBC University Swingmen Classic and culminate in the 96th edition of the Midsummer Classic on July 14th. The National League will look for a second consecutive victory over the American League after winning last year in a first home run derby style swing off. And that's another story. I don't have time to really get into that. This is another waste of time for the All-Star. All three sports got lousy All-Star games. All three sports, all three major sports. The NFL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA. The tiebreaker of the game was tied 6-6 after 9 innings, and whoever won, I didn't even watch the whole thing, but one of the players who won the Derby hit a walk-off home run. In the NBA, former NBA players Malik Beasley and Ed Davis and an NBA agent are coming among 6 defendants indicted early this week on charges related to an alleged sports betting scheme. Davis and co-defendant Rob Gorodowski, Ernestine Ernesto Plancinicia, and William Brown were arrested early this week, according to sports person for the U.S. Attorney Office for the Eastern District of New York. Beasley and defendant who was Davis among were not in custody, so they were in they did not go to jail, but they are being indicted. According to the indictment, Beasley lost millions of dollars gambling during his 9-year NBA career. He agreed to underperform and overperform ahead of at least 4 games during the 2023-24 season where while he was with the Milwaukee Bucks, so that the co-conspirators could wager on his statistics according to the indictment. This is going to get real ugly real soon. Beasley received bribes from co-conspirators, often used as the reduced pay or pay off debts he owed Davis. Prosecutors allege in the indictment 2 were teammates on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Beasley has struggled financially in recent years. A judge ordered him to pay $1 million to his former agency last March, which alleged in a lawsuit that Beasley had failed to pay back at $650,000 marketing advance. He was evicted from his high-rise apartment in Detroit last summer after his landlord sued him for a total of $21,505 in unpaid rent, according to court records. See, this is not going to go away with athletes in all sports. It seems like that they're still doing it. It's a matter of who gets caught. If you get caught, then now you want to beg for mercy. If you don't get caught, you win, you get paid off, and that's how the greed start coming in. They get greedy. Well, it's been a big, important, busy week for the Supreme Court of our country. The Supreme Court on Tuesday upheld state laws barring transgender girls and women from playing on school athletic teams, and another setback for transgender people. The court 6-justice conservative majority, that's the 6 out of the 9 that's on the Supreme Court, which has repeatedly ruled against transgender Americans in the past year, ruled that state bans in Idaho and West Virginia don't violate the constitutions. The court unanimously agreed that barring transgender girls and women also doesn't run afoul to the federal law known as the Title IX. Title IX, which prohibits sex discrimination in education. More than 24 other Republican-led states have adopted bans on females, genders, athletes, and the decision seems certain to extend to them as well. Left unresolved by the outcome of the lawsuits challenging state laws and regulation in Connecticut, California, and elsewhere that permitted transgender athletes to compete consistently with gender identity. I'm for the Republicans on this one. I am. I don't care if you change your sex, but you're still a male to me. You may change your identity to become a female, but you was born a male. You're gonna remain a male. You should not be going into women's locker room. You do have advantage. A male athlete is much more superior than a female athlete. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. And that's why I say wrong, wrong, wrong. So congratulations to the Supreme Court. They won easily 6-3, and it should be like that. This day in sports, July 3rd, 1932, after 30 years as manager of the New York Giants, baseball Giants, John McGraw retires from baseball, winning 2,583 games that he won, but lost 1,948 losses in New York. 1966, Atlanta Braves, Tony Carniga, first National League player and only pitcher to hit 2 grand slams in a major league game, as they beat the San Francisco Giants 17-3. 2020 Major League Baseball All-Star Game planned to be hosted on July 14th by the Dodgers is canceled due to COVID-19 pandemic. 2020 Major League Baseball Cleveland Indians own Paul Dolan announces that he would review changing the organization's name from the Indians to the Guardians, and that's what they are now. There's people on the right wing think that people are getting too sensitive. No, it's a disrespect to the Native Americans. And if you feel differently, then that's too bad. Because the Native Americans, the majority of them I know, feel that is an insult. So yes, they should change the name. Birthdays on this day, 1953, Frank Tanana, Major League Baseball pitcher, Major League Baseball 3-time All-Star, 1976 through 1978, strikeout leader, was born in Detroit, Michigan. Maurice, 1966, Maurice Alou. He is his family, as you know, the Alou brothers, Matty, Felipe, and Jesus Alou, is a 6-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger Award, World Series champion in 1997, was born in Atlanta, Georgia. His uncles and father was born in the Dominican Republic. 1966, Neil O'Donnell, NFL quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers and broadcaster of WTVF in Nashville, was born in Morristown, New Jersey. And happy birthday, 1967 to, Ryan Cashman, Major League GM for the New York Yankees. I don't know if this is a good birthday for you right now during this here time because your team is really stinking up the place. But he is a 4-time World Series champion for the New York Yankees, was born in Rockville Center, New York. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports.
I don't know what it is about these Yankees. I mean, they're up one time and they're down one day. They're back in second place again.
Unbelievable.
And it's like it. If someone from the Yankees are watching right now, I got to tell you, Riley, you're really disappointing us. You know, those poor people who spend their hard-earned money to go out there to see the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, and sometimes they even travel with the Yankees on the road. They spend their hard-earned money and they travel, and you disappoint them.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
only are you being beat, you're being beat, but you're being beaten by people, by teams that like are in fourth place teams. You know, I, I
You-
want
you- you-
just last week, Brian, I turned on the Yankee game because with this World Cup thing going on, it's dominating sports altogether. I don't care what you say, it's dominating sports. Everybody is tuned to the World Cup. But I was watching wrestling the other night, and then I said, "Oh, you know something? The Yankees are playing. I'm gonna go see what they're doing." When I tuned them in, they were in the sixth inning. They were playing the Detroit Tigers. They were in the sixth inning, and they were losing 9-1. And when
Jeez.
I saw that, I said, "You know something? I'm gonna go back to wrestling and just find out what happened later on." I went to the gym the next day, and I have some guys that I know and women that I know that are Yankee fans there. We talk about it, and no one knew what the final score. I said I turned away from it. What was the final score? No one knew. I guess they did the same thing. So when I got back, I went on the computer to find out what was the final score of that game, and they beat them 9-2. Detroit beat them 9-2.
Yeah.
Final.
Listen, expectation. If you're playing in New York, the expectation is high. In any sport, living in New York, playing in New York, it is what it is. So you gotta, you have to find a way to really represent the city and state that you're playing for. And New York is a very demanding. They don't like to lose, especially for the New York Yankees. Oh,
Yeah,
no, cannot do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to give up. I'm never listen, I'm a Yankee fan since I'm 14 years old. That was a long time ago. And still with them. And I will always be with them. You don't bail out in bad time. You stay with them because they had bad seasons before too. But this is like it's like aggravating when they start winning and they go back to first place and then they get licked back to second place and they were up and down. But at least they never went below second place.
But they're
At
going to
least,
make the playoffs, though. I mean, regardless of what you say or think, they're going to make the playoffs because, listen, the American League East is not doing that well themselves. So,
I know.
I see them coming in going into the playoffs. So, let's be patient. Now the All-Star break is coming. I always said from the beginning of the year of the
Yeah,
baseball year, I don't pay attention to standings.
yeah,
The halfway point is the All-Star game. Then you focus your attention. Now that basketball is finished,
yeah,
football is about to come with their spring training. It's now Major League Baseball alone. Heck,
yeah.
look at my San Francisco Giants. So not doing well.
Well, I see I see what you're saying, and misery love company. But I just like when the World Cup came in, I just didn't pay much attention to baseball. Not just the Yankees, but baseball. Period. It was more like everything was a World Cup. When you read the news in sports, it's World Cup, World Cup, World Cup. You know, and everything else is taking a back seat. But like you say, the All Star game is coming up, and then they're going to do uh, the Home Run Derby, which is going to be televised on Netflix, by the way.
Wow.
And and since we're at it, Brian, since we're at it, you talk about Netflix. I read that Netflix is going to do more Major League Baseball games.
Yeah. Yeah. This has been in the plans. They talked about this last year. Um, I haven't seen too many games on now, but I think as the season gets really heated up from now until the end of the season, you're going to see more baseball games. Just like with the football, you're going to see more football games on Prime and on Netflix.
Mm,
That's where the money is being made, and expect this. Just expect this. This is what's going to be, you know.
yeah. They're more now indulging in sports than they ever did before. They first try was that that fight between Mike Tyson and what's his name, Paul, and what's his first name?
Mike
Remember that
Tyson.
fight? Uh, what's the guys? They're brothers. One is a wrestler, and the other one is a boxer.
Oh,
Uh,
Hogan. Was it Hogan? Paul Hogan? Uh,
no,
yeah.
no, 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 no. Last name is Paul.
Oh, okay. It's the Paul brothers. Yeah, yeah. I know that he fought one of them,
Yeah, he fought the one that's a boxer. The other one is a wrestler.
a wrestler.
Uh, and the that was the first time they indulged in sports with that. That was their first stepping stone, you know.
Yeah,
And then that's when they started to do this. And now they're streaming more sports now, that which is good. A lot of people are like that. If you do have Netflix and Paramount and things like that. Paramount, I don't know, a lot of people kind of canceling out on Paramount. They're dropping their subscription
really.
because of, yeah, yeah. Oh, you probably heard about it. The MAGA people are taking that over, and
I think they're connected to CBS. That's one of
yeah,
the
that's the thing.
stations that the president do not like. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for the sports. I appreciate that. And just in case you're just watching, the name of the show is called The Coffee Hour. And Brian, you will be pleased to know that we're now on Netflix. We fixed the problem. We're back on Netflix.
Netflix.
I'm
You
not
said,
Netflix. I'm talking about Netflix. We're on YouTube.
okay, I'm
we
getting
fixed
ready to say that you elevated real, real fast.
just talking about Netflix. I just kept my mind on Netflix. Well, we're back on YouTube now. We fixed the problem, so that's good. Anyway, actress Dame Penelope Keith, best known for her roles in the classic 1970 British sitcom The Good Life and The Two Manor Born, has died. In a statement, her family said on Monday that she died peacefully at her home in Surrey, and tributes have been paid by her friends and admirers, with Felicity Kendall, her co-star on The Good Life, remembering her as a comic genius who was a joy to know and to work with. She was 86. Ellen Wetson, who appeared and wrote for the daytime dramas, she died. And her friend and manager and producer Susan Zachary informed the Hollywood Reporter that Watson died last Sunday at Sinai Medical Center in LA. The New York native, Watson headed to Broadway as an understudy in 1960. She appeared on The Great White Way opposite future LA law and actor Stephen Hill in 1961, and in Mary Mary in 1962. From 1963 to 1964, she played Robin Fletcher on The Guiding Light. From 1964 to 1965, Weston portrayed both Carol Pearson and Karen Gregory on Another World. She was 87. This fall, the Kelly Clarkson Show will be coming to an end after 7 seasons. Lawrence Zarian, a lifestyle expert who has appeared on several shows or multiple times, and is a good friend of Kelly Clarkson, opened up about the show ending. And this new chapter in the singer's life is a new interview. And Zarian noted that when the show is over, Clarkson will be going to focus on her family as being a mom to her 2 kids, whose father, Brandon Blackstone, died in 2025. Clarkson announced the news of her show ending in February. And speaking of CBS, Scott Paley has first major move. He made his first major move since being ousted from 60 Minutes earlier this month, signing with the new representation. The veteran journalist has signed with Creative Arts Agency. That's the company that represents several of former 60 Minute co-workers, many of whom are also forced out of the show. They were forced out of the show in the past year. Earlier this month, Pelly confirmed that the show's new producer, Nick Bilton, talked about Barry Weiss, who made the changes during the heated staff meeting. Pelly reported that the Weiss was murdering 60 Minutes and told Bilton that he had slender qualifications for the job. And the next day, Bilton sent a termination letter to Pelly, uh, noting that he'd be fired for cause effectively immediately. And finally, Supergirl, the DC film starring Millie Alcock. Uh, she plays Superman's cousin, and she had an underwhelming underwhelming opening weekend last weekend at the domestic box office, earning $38 million. Now this puts in second place behind Toy Story 5, which easily repeated at number one in the second weekend with $70 million. It was a disappointing result, given Supergirl had the expectation to start close to $50 million domestically, and that would have been already been the big decline from $125 million opening of 2025. And Superman, in which Alcock's Supergirl has introduced, and she was introduced early with a cameo appearance. Birthdays today: actress Olivia Munn. She's 46 years old today. Actor Tom Cruise is 64. TV talk show host Montel Williams is 70. Singer, the late Laura Branigan, would have been 74. Jazz musician John Clemmer is 80 today. Feminist and civil rights attorney Gloria Allred is 85. R&B singer, the late Fontella Bass, would have been 86. Actor Michael Cole of Mod Squad would have been 86. And singer David Lynch of the Platters would have been 97. Jazz singer Johnny Hartman would have been 103. And newspaper columnist, journalist, she's a columnist and journalist, Dorothy Kilgallen would have been 113 years old. Dorothy Kilgallen was the one Frank Sinatra coined her as the chinless wonder. I don't think Frank Sinatra didn't like her too well.
Oh, the chinless one. Jeez.
Chinless wonder. Okay.
It's vicious.
Well, it is vicious. Anyway, if you, we want to say happy birthday to them anyway. The ones who are no longer around with us, we wish you a happy birthday and will continue to do so, because you left us a wonderful legacy. And the ones who are celebrating birthdays, we wish you many, many more. And if you're celebrating a birthday anytime soon, please get in touch with us and let us know so we can talk about it. And you can contact us by emailing us, or either calling us or emailing us. Email address is Frank Allan Prod. That's Prod. Allan is spelled Allan. Prod is Prod. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. Telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Keep all of that information in all of your electronic devices, such as your computer, be it a laptop or a desktop or your telephone or even your tablet. So whenever you need it, it's handy for you. The address again is Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. Telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. Victor Willis, the front man of the 1970s disco group The Village People, has died. The Texan-born musician was the lead singer and co-writer of the band's biggest hits, including YMCA, Go West, and In the Navy. And the group became international stars in the 1970s. They all dressed up in their macho clothes. And by the way, Willis was the policeman and the naval officer, and he was 74 years old. Well, I have those movies I want to get check out for you. I want to do them right quick, so we're running out of time. And let's go back to 1949, because these are the movies you could pick up on Turner Classic Movies, and they may be movies that you want to watch at your leisure during the holiday. It's called Take Me Out to the Ball Game, starring Frank Sinatra, Esther Williams, and Gene Kelly. Turner Classic Movie, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. You have Yankee Doodle Dandy with James Cagney from 1942, along with Joan Leslie and Walter Houston or Hudson, however you would, depending on where you're from. Anyway, that's Turner Classic Movies. That's Saturday at 2:45 p.m. Eastern. And The Music Man, another musical, and that's with Robert Preston, Shirley Jones, and Buddy Hackett. Turner Classic Movies Saturday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. And from 1966, Born Free. That's with Virginia McKenna, along with Bill Travis and Jeffrey Keane. That's Turner Classic Movies Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And the Beatles came out with this in 1964, A Hard Day's Night. That was the title track of their song, too, along with this movie, featuring John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. And that's Turner Classic Movie. That's Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And another musical, which I like, back in 1955, called Oklahoma, starring Shirley Jones, Gordon McCrae, and Rod Steiger. It's Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. You can check out Turner Classic Movies and go there because there may be other movies that you may want to enjoy. It's right there for you at your convenience. And of course, only these are my picks of the week, but there may be others that you may be interested in. And while you're at your cable, if you still have cable, you can go on and record these shows that I told you about and watch them later on if you can't watch them in real time. Don't forget, there are free movies out there, along with pay-per-view movies, sporting events, children's program, and documentaries, all there for the asking and for the taking. All right, so let me give you these movies once again. Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Frank Sinatra. Esther Williams, Gene Kelly, Turner Classic Movies, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Yankee Doodle Dandy with James Cagney, Joan Leslie, and Walter Houston, Turner Classic Movies, Saturday at 2:45 p.m. Eastern. The Music Man with Robert Preston, Shirley Jones, and Buddy Hackett, Turner Classic Movies, Saturday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. Born Free with Virginia McKenna, Bill Travis, and Jeffrey Keane, Turner Classic Movies, Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. A Hard Day's Night with John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison, Turner Classic Movies, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And Oklahoma with Shirley Jones, Gordon McCrae, and Rod Steiger, Turner Classic Movies, Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Rod Steiger, that's the one that played Al Capone,
Yes, Rod Steiger. I always got him confused with Rod Sterling from The Twilight Zone and Rod Steiger.
Yeah.
I always got them confused with the names.
And Rod now I'm getting confused. Ron, did I say Ron? Rod, yeah, but Rod Steiger. Rod Steiger is the one that played with Sidney Poitier, too, in that movie.
The Heat of the Night?
The Heat of the Night. Yeah. Yeah. So he's been around. He's been around. Well, here we go. It's time to vote in 2026. And we have the midterms coming up. And you must do your civic duty and go out there and vote. And you said earlier, too, Brian, that the U.S. Supreme Court was busy this week. And they were not only busy with the item that you talked about the in sports, but also good news. And we said this last night on Talkback Live that, first of all, the Supreme Court rejected the GOP assault on mail-in voting. So now you can vote. As long as you get your vote by mail, make sure that it's postmarked on that day. Mm-hmm. So get it in time. So you can vote by mail. Donald Trump wants everybody not to vote by mail, but he'll vote. But he doesn't want anybody else to vote by mail. But he'll vote by mail. Mm-hmm. Isn't that something? Anyway, you can vote by mail now. There's no problem with that, at least for now. Mm-hmm. The U.S. Supreme Court also declined to hear Donald Trump's appeal, meaning that he has to pay $5 million for the verdict of the sexual assault that he inflicted on E. Jean Carroll. Remember E. Jean Carroll? So he has to pay her that $5 million. He can't escape it any longer. He has to pay it up. He's going to try to escape it, but he can't do it.
He could afford it. After all, he made billions of dollars in his second term as president. So,
right.
Yeah. So,
not to mention the $2.2 million or $1 billion that he did on crypto.
On
or
those
that he
fake
stole.
coins, on those fake
Yeah,
coins of his.
yeah. Which, by the way, crypto was the one that he frowned on in the beginning. He thought that was a scheme. And basically, when you look at it, now it is. Now it is. The Supreme Court ruled 5-4 to block Trump from immediately firing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Now the decision came up. Now she can keep her position going. He tried to fire her. Why did he try to fire her? Only because she's outspoken and she says what she feels.
That's it.
And she's the enemy now. But see, that didn't hold up in court. And also, Trump loses the Supreme Court fight to end birthright citizenship.
That's right. It's been a good day, a good week for the
Yeah.
Supreme Court of the United States.
But the fight is not over with him. He's going to try. He's a schemer. He's going to try to find a way to overturn all of that.
Why?
Just
Of
like,
course, because it's the midterms approaching. Of course, he will.
it's just tiresome. It's absolutely tiresome. And, and it got to the point too where ICE agents, I think this happened in Texas, ICE agents, they wanted ICE agents to sentence those protesters for 100 years in jail. How are you going to send protesters when you could do that legally and you send them to jail for 100 years? That's Trump's doing. He doesn't like people going on the opposition.
Of course not.
That's the problem. You were going to say?
No, I'm saying that it's mad. It's just totally madness on his part. You cannot say anything against him or say anything negative about him because if he thinks this is his world. But you know who I don't blame him for doing everything he can to try to turn things upside down. I gotta
Oh,
blame the Republicans
yep,
because they allow him to get away with this.
yep.
So this is something that America don't be mad at the people who vote against him. Vote. I mean, get mad at the people that's afraid to stand up against him. Simple
You
as that.
know, and you know something too. I keep saying it just to remind people, and particularly the Republican, the MAGA Republican, you got duped. I've said it time and time again. You're going to be right down in the dirt with the rest of us. You're not going to get that high-paying tech job that you were promised, and you're not going to get that deluxe apartment in the sky on the east side. You're not going to get that because he made sure. And you're not even eating like the rest of us. So we're eating, but like his thing is let them eat cake. Let them eat cake. While
Yes.
the billionaires are going out and barbecuing this weekend, I saw one politician said something about what he's going to do this weekend. He's going to be eating lobster and barbecuing and all of that, and everybody else have to scramble and cut and scrape and claw just to make a buck to buy food.
And this is the land that we live in. This is the country of 250 years of independence. This is where we live, and this is
Yeah,
why this is what goes on.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
I don't have any feelings or any sympathy for Republicans. None at all. They could have stopped this a long time ago.
That's right.
They could have opened their mouths a long time ago, but now it's too late. And those Republicans like that do their podcast, people like Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens, and they come out all of a sudden. They come out and speak. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I still don't trust them. And after all of that, look what happened with what's his face, Joe Rogan. He goes out there and introduce that guy and talks to that guy, that fighter from the UFC. So they're not leaving MAGA. They're not leaving it. They're
They
just
don't want to
pretending.
they don't want to lose their seats. The midterms are coming. So of course they want to keep their mouth shut. That's what that's about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm upset with it. I'm upset. I'm finished with it. I'm finished with it. And speaking of finishing, we're finished, Brian. We can go back and do what we're doing. We can finish celebrating the 250th birthday your own way. Your own way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you back here next week then. How about that?
All right,
And
everybody be safe on this holiday weekend. Enjoy.
enjoy the best way you can. And all of you, come back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be here for the Talkback Live show. And that's, you can check out Brian Cam. He's my co host on that show, and he'll be here with sports as well. And then come back here next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern for the coffee hour. Brian Camping Sports, and a whole lot of fun. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a wonderful 250th celebration birthday if you dare, and we'll see you next week. Talk to you later. Bye bye.